In this video, I want to guide you through all the steps necessary to get your SAP workflows from the SAP Fiori My Inbox in your Outlook. As outlined in the related blog, the assumption is that you have a test user on the SAP Gateway Developer Center system and you have access to an Office 365 landscape, both of which can be requested as a trial. To start with, we will validate that both the SAP Fiori My Inbox and Outlook Office 365 are working. Open the SAP Fiori Launchpad and enter your SAP Gateway test user. You will see a blank Fiori Launchpad and need to add the SAP Fiori My Inbox tile to your home screen. Right now, in my screen, you can see that there are 11 pending workflow items. We will add some more workflows by opening transaction SWUS in the Web GUI. Just enter the workflow ID WS 80242 and click on Execute. This will trigger a new demo workflow. Just make sure that you cancel the workflow and do not approve it yet. That's something that we want to do later. Back in the My Inbox, you can see that the number of pending workflows increased by 2. Next, let's check Office 365 and sign in. Right now, there are no pending emails. So we are good for the download and installation. Let's start with Visual Studio 2013 Community Edition. The download is pretty fast, but the installation can take some time. That's why we will continue downloading and preparing the other files. The next file is the Office Developer Tools for Visual Studio. Again, the download is pretty fast. Next, we need to download the trial for SAP Gateway for Microsoft Visual Studio. You need to authenticate to request the link for the trial version. Just fill out the required fields and wait for the email with the download link. Once you receive the email, click on the link and download the software. Unfortunately, it is possible that the zip file is not actually a zip, but a RAR file, which means that Windows cannot extract the file. Let's quickly download WinRAR and use it to extract the trial version of SAP Gateway for Microsoft. In order to install the SAP Gateway for Microsoft Visual Studio add-in, we need a few DLLs, which are all available in NuGet packages. The first one is the JSON.NET library. The second one is from the Active Directory Authentication library. Finally, we can download the actual workflow template from GitHub. In order to get the required DLLs, we rename the NuGet packages that we just downloaded and extracted the DLLs from the lib folder. As a last step, we can extract the Visual Studio workflow template. Now we will speed up the remaining time of the installation of Visual Studio. Now the installation is done and we can start Visual Studio for the first time. Again, we will speed up this initial startup to save some time. After we close Visual Studio, we can install the Office Developer Tools. It also takes some time to install, so we will again speed up the video. In order to install SAP Gateway for Microsoft, we need to register 3 DLLs. For that, we start the developer command prompt for Visual Studio and go to the folder where we downloaded the DLLs. From within there, we just run the gackutil to add the assemblies to the cache. Now we are ready to install SAP Gateway for Microsoft. You know the drill. We will speed up the video to save some time while we wait for the installation to finish. With that, we can finally start the Visual Studio Workflow template. Just open the Workflow App Solution file, which will launch Visual Studio 2013. There are only a few things that we need to adjust now. The first thing is in the web.config file. Open it on the right-hand side from the Solution Explorer. At the bottom, you can see the Gateway Configuration section. For the Gateway Service URL, copy and paste the URL to the Task Processing Service. In our SAP Gateway developer system, we do not use multiple SAP backend systems, so we set the key to false. The SAP client is 800, and the gateway request type is something that we can retrieve via the task collection in the task processing service. Just search for the task definition ID and copy the value to the web.config file. Since we're not going to use single sign-on, we will hard code the username and password in the constant.cs file. This is obviously only good for this demo, not in a productive system where you would use tools like SAP Gateway for Microsoft to enable single sign-on. The project is not complete yet. We need to add 2 more references from NuGet to get it working. For this, open the NuGet package manager and install the JSON.NET framework from Newtonsoft and the HTML Agility Pack. Now we're almost done. The last step is a small modification that we need to do in the default for gateway ASPX.cs file. Since our demo workflow does not yet support custom attributes, we have to hard code them. Again, if the workflow would support that, there would not be any need for this change. Now we're done and can finally start the project. You will be prompted to enter your email address of the Office 365 account. This will deploy the solution and make it available in Exchange. Obviously, we still do not have any emails in our inbox. Since this is a demo workflow, we need to send us a notification email manually. For this, we will look up one workflow ID, which we will send in the subject line of our notification email. From the task collection service, we can just take the ID and use it in a new email. Just make sure the subject is workflow #ID. When we now switch to our Office 365 inbox, you can see this notification email and you see a workflow app. When we click on that, we can see the workflow details, and you can also approve the workflow directly from Outlook. I hope you enjoyed this small walkthrough and saw how easy it is to get SAP workflows in Outlook. Let me know if you are facing any issues or have suggestions how to improve. Thanks for watching.